How's it going?
Alright.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How've sales been?
Been pretty good.
On the up? About the same?
A little bit up.
Nice.
A little bit on the incline. It's been pretty nice and steady.
What do you attribute that to?
Hmm?
What do you attribute the raise to? Anything in particular?
So this does go back to a couple episodes ago. I did go ahead and pull that trigger and bought into the the eBay subscription store.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
We did too.
Yeah?
Yes. How do you feel about it?
Overall pretty happy. I need to actually make some of those like categories. When you know, when I first bought it, I was not prepared for any of that, and I was like, I don't have time for this right now.
It has a lot of extra features.
But
yeah.
I was just like, between all the extra listings and like at the time when I bought it, I was already at like 348 or 350 listings active, and I was just like,
yep.
yeah,
We're probably
it's
pretty similar.
time, and I just.
So we were actually running out.
Mm-hmm.
Like actively running out. Like I looked at what needed to be redone, and we would have run out before the month was over. And I think we're a few behind on our July listings because we had that 3-a-day goal.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get caught up before the end of the month. But we've already used, out of the 1,000 listings, we're down, I think of today, as of earlier today, we were down to 981.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the end of the month yet.
Yeah.
So we definitely were going to run out. We're filming this in July. We would have run out before the 31st for sure. I mean, we would have run out probably a couple of days ago. And that's even just with us not listing anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's just with our renewing listings. So we definitely did it because I was like, if we list 60 things next month, that we would have had to pay for at, I think, 35 cents a listing or something.
Yeah, it's either 25 or
itself.
35. It was just like done. It's time.
Yeah, we're talking about running a sale this weekend on some
cool.
of our older listings. We haven't really gone through it yet, but I think probably Friday we're gonna do that.
It's been neat seeing all the functions and stuff because like I can run a sale. I did run a sale I went through all my Christmas items.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, it's Christmas
in
in July. And
Perfect.
I ran a sale. I got no traction from those. I did get some clicks, but nobody bought anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was neat to experiment with. And then the coupon feature, like it keeps being like, oh, send a coupon to previous buyers, and I want to make a coupon eventually and stuff. Go here, you can have 20% off if you come back and buy something.
Anything,
yeah, because it's really neat.
Yeah, it is, and I'm hoping it'll be beneficial. Like I said, just because of the listing issue, the literally running out of listings issue. I'm not sure if the basic subscription would be worth it if you weren't already maxing out your free listings.
Yeah.
Unless you knew like, oh, you will definitely go, you're listing like a mad person and you know you're going to get over that. Or if you're like us where you already have like 300 plus items that are just on your store already, and so as those older ones renew, it's like sucking up all. That's what we were just watching it all month, like every day it's low and low and low, and so we pulled it. I'm hoping it goes well.
So kind of tying into that, by buying a store, you are essentially what we're going to be talking about, building a brand. What else have you been doing that you see kind of shifting toward brand awareness instead of just you're doing eBay? So
we've talked about doing some things. I think this next year, or at the end of half of the year, we're gonna have to try to kick up our social media. I did notice there was some sort of social media integration on the eBay store. I don't know if you clicked on that.
A little bit, yeah.
But I think Hannah's talked about possibly being able to take over the Instagram and start doing regular posts. I know we have like she hasn't really used it much, but we have one of those little turntable things. So we thought about doing some turntable videos and with like background music and then like kind of retro background music and putting that on Instagram as we get new stuff in. And then I noticed one of the things looking at the eBay store that they have the big banner section, and I've been talking to Hannah recently about really refining our logo. She did our logo, but I don't think it's like the best that she could do. And she is also like her area of, you know this probably, was illustration.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward, and I've talked to her about making us a larger logo, like a long form logo that would be an illustration with our name on there for the banner section. Also, for if we do in-person events, something that we could print out on like a large banner for a display, and then also have the little circle logo refined and like a truncated.
Also with that banner art did you see that you can do categories of your listing items?
Yeah, you can change the name.
Yeah, well, not only change the name, but you can actually lump in specific categories. Like, so I could make one of them that's trading cards, but not just trading cards. It could be the other ephemera for that, and then I could upload a custom image for that.
I think I did see that. There was like a 6 image or however many image boxes you had.
I'm gonna experiment with doing some of that because my stuff is all over the place. So I'm gonna try to curate a few specific niches on that and see how that goes. Because I do get repeat buyers, but I wonder if that would drive even more just
because they could have everything in one spot.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the benefits of having an eBay store, is that you actually can organize your store as opposed to it just being people having to scroll through hundreds of listings, which probably in some regards increases sales. I did play around with store categories, though I haven't uploaded custom images really, but I think I have 6 right now. One of them is other, but I did some of our main items. So like vintage housewares or vintage kitchenware or whatever, I can't remember what I put, and then like vintage clothes and modern decor and modern housewares, or modern kitchenware or whatever. So I did do that, like that. I started that process, but that I think we need to like hone that over time to make the most of that. But as far as building a brand, that's the big thing. Is I think we need to get our logo keyed in, finalized. We had that one. It did its job for the first year and whatever, but I think we can do better than that. I know she has. You guys haven't seen her work, but I know she has pretty significant illustration skills, and so I'm hoping we can come up with something cool. We already have an idea of, or I have a concept that I'm interested in, so we'll see how it goes. But as far as branding, like the thing on eBay is like I don't know how much I want to niche down my eBay, because there's still some random odds and ends that we do sell that don't 100% go along with our branding.
Right.
And I've talked about this before on here that I have thought about down the line. Let's say we do still enjoy resale in 3 or 4 years. It's doing really well. We've grown. I've thought about the possibility, and I've mentioned it before, of splitting our company into 2 and having Keeled Overstock be that more vintage collectibles end, and having something else be the more modern housewares or kitchenware in particular, like store. But I don't see that being something right now. So for now,
well, as it is, you're still trying to get the one off the floor to a more reasonable level. So.
But I think that's what the Keeled Overstock banner would be. Would be the more vintage, and that's what we're going to lean into with that.
Yeah.
We will on eBay. We'll still sell random stuff, but on Etsy, obviously, it's more curated. And if we went to any sort of like festival or whatever, it would also be more curated. Another thing that we're talking about, speaking of branding, is we're not going to participate this year, but we're going to go in the fall. We're going to go to an antique and vintage festival in a nearby town, and we're going to do it like reconnaissance. So we're going to feel out the crowd, see how other vendors are displayed, see the kinds of things that people are selling, get an idea of if it feels like there's enough attendance and if people are buying the kinds of things that we sell, to maybe do in the spring, because they have a fall one and a spring one at this location, and I think the spring one's like in early May. And so if we go, I think this one's in October. If we go in October, get an idea, is it worth it?
Sites to target in on.
Yep, and then maybe do it in May. As opposed to just jumping immediately into it. But again, that's the kind of thing that we need to get that branding down so that we can make a banner and buy the appropriate things for our business cards.
What is that, 6 months in between the one to the other?
Yeah, some time to think and really finalize that stuff.
But in the meantime, so you're talking about online social media as well, but even just building a brand in the community of, hey, like that one person that bought the mushroom on Etsy. Well, they know you're local. That is a form of brand building and putting out those lines of like, hey, I buy and resell stuff, or I'm looking for vintage of XYZ because that's what I like to sell online. And when people know that's what you are already into, it helps. Like they'll just show up and be like, "Hey, I found this stuff. Do you want it?"
Yeah,
which is nice.
You have that happen a lot.
I've had it happen a lot.
So, our branding has been a little bit more clear. I think since we started our brand idea, if you will. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts on branding are, because I know you have this like shotgun approach to reselling.
So. Specifically, I'll break it down into 3 main ideas when it comes to branding. When I'm thinking eBay, because to me, eBay is the tool used to connect what anybody's looking for. Because with eBay, Etsy's a little bit different, and even if you had your own website, your own platform, it's a little more different. But I feel like with eBay, it's a lot of, if I'm looking for something, I'm not going to look for a store to get that item. I'm going to look for that item. And whoever has that item for sale, at the rate I'm happy with paying, that's the one I'm going to buy it from. It doesn't matter, like, when I go buy magic cards for myself, if I go to eBay to buy them, I don't worry about, am I getting them from Toad and Troll, which is one of the big game stores, or Card Kingdom. I'm just going to buy them at a rate that I think is a good price. So that's how I view eBay. But when I am doing eBay, I always try to make sure that as a brand, I'm making sure my customer's happy. I'm always providing my customer with the best. I need to order more, but I ordered a bunch of stickers that are my logo. And every time I sell an item, one of those stickers go on
We've talked about doing that, yeah.
And I have seen an increase by putting those on. People leave feedback. People will go, oh yeah, I bought it from this person. I should make sure I leave my feedback. And so it helps just solidify.
Interesting.
And then I've already talked about before, I also have these stickers. I didn't make these ones. These are from Amazon. Just, hey, thank you for your purchase. If you have any issues, please reach out to me. Don't forget to leave feedback. I put those right on there as well. Generally not on the item. It'll be like, I wrap the item in bubble wrap and those will go on the outside or whatnot. But just doing that and being willing to reach out to the customer and be like, hey, did you have any issues and whatnot? I had one item, it'd been 2 weeks, and item still said it wasn't delivered. Well, why? So I reached out to the customer, and they were like, "Oh no, I got it."
Someone just didn't scan it.
Somebody just didn't scan it.
Thank heaven.
It was just like the little things of being consistent, being professional. At least specifically with eBay, I find goes a long way. Because to me, I have those things I gravitate towards as I like to sell these things. We've all seen when we're reviewing the end of the month, like all the trading cards and all the cameras but just because I like to sell those things doesn't mean I'm going to turn away from selling other items. But
and we don't either. We have some random crap on ours too. But.
I do like. I do want to start making videos eventually. And with that, it might not generate exactly traffic toward what I am selling specifically, but it's more so spreading that same culture, that same idea, that same mentality of, hey, you got to take what you're doing and make sure you're serving your customer right.
Do you use the same brand name or store name and logo across platforms?
Yes.
Yeah. So if he looked you up, it would be, because we're Killed Overstock everywhere. Yeah. Basically. If you look up Killed Overstock and it's there, it's 99% us. And if it's not us, report them. But,
yeah, I use the same thing, the same logo, the same name, and that way it's here and here and here. And that way, I haven't had it happen yet where somebody went, hey, do you have, are you selling a Mercari too? And I've even considered making my own specific Facebook page, so that way I could go, okay, I'm selling a Facebook Marketplace now instead of my personal account. But I just haven't done that because that's one extra thing to worry about. And
what is your brand name? We don't say it on here often. He's on here though. What is yours?
It's just Thrifty Crab.
Thrifty Crab.
Yeah.
So if you look up Thrifty Crab on eBay, this guy. And also on TikTok and stuff, right?
Yep.
Which I think we have at the end of this video if you watch. We have like our social media handles on there. But
possibly. A new YouTube update might have mitigated all of that, but I'll talk about that after the video.
No, all the updates. All right. Anyway, but yeah, so you do see yourself as a brand in some regard.
Yeah, it's not necessarily how I view when I'm tying myself to the items, because I view it more like I'm I'll say it, really low budget Walmart, because they sell everything and anything. It doesn't matter that when I go to Walmart, if I don't find, I came in here looking for, Q-tips. How is it that you also are selling this and this and this? And why are you selling tires? I came in here for Q-tips. Most people don't care.
Yours is more a brand philosophy. Or your brand is more tied to philosophy than it is to the kinds of items you're selling. Yeah. And obviously we've talked about this before in an earlier episode. I mean, probably a dozen episodes or more ago. Yeah. How we have sort of codes for where we source, how we source, some sort of ethics that we try to follow around that. And we definitely do have like a sort of customer service philosophy, like how we handle customers.
It even just
stems from that. Basically.
Yeah, not even the customers you're selling to, but even the people you're interacting with as you're sourcing, or it's just a key of respect. But yeah, I don't, just because I like selling specific items, if I got to a point where I'm like, I'm not selling any of those because there's nothing around for me to source, which I don't think that would ever happen just because
of what you're selling.
Right. But let's say with trading cards, I can't find anything. That doesn't mean I'm going to go, well, I don't have anything to list. Because I'm still going to be able to find something else that I can list. I just might not enjoy it as much as what I like to list. So
it's interesting to me because I think while we don't have like a perfectly niched store, we are definitely leaning towards being one of those resellers that has a sort of niche or niches in which they predominantly work. And you were more like widespread, which is just reiterating what we said lots of times. But I think that you do see those other sellers. There are both kinds of sellers on eBay. Like there are people out there who literally only sell postcards. Or literally only sell patterns. Or literally only sell,
there's one
whatever.
Guy only sells violas, violins, bows.
Crazy.
And doing very well for himself. And he's like, got his branding on the channel art, and if I remember right, he makes videos showing how to restore them and sell them and stuff like that. And it's like, good on you,
Yeah. So it's interesting that both do well there. And like some of the big sellers you see, like that have YouTube videos or whatever and have tons of money in annual sales. Some of them are niche, like they only do jeans or they only do whatever. but I'm not sure it matters in eBay as much. I think it does matter if you want a brand. It matters more.
Yeah.
If you want a brand outside.
Yeah.
Of eBay, I think Etsy, it makes more sense because you're more apt to get repeat buyers.
How's your Etsy been going, by the way?
Slower than it did in June, but we've still made sales. We just shipped something off today that we sold a couple of days ago, so it's slower. We have not been putting as much on there as we should have been probably, but it's still plugging along, so I'm not giving up on it.
I will say, so I have gotten into the habit where every day I'll list magic cards on Mercari, and just because of that, I've been able to put a decent amount of money aside just from Mercari sales. So there is something to that, but at the same time, I have also put media, like books and stuff, on Mercari, and some of them have sold. So it's the same thing. It's like
your niche on there almost is the trading cards.
I feel on Mercari, I do have a very more honed in niche. With eBay, it is very broad, but that's just because I feel the market of availability is a lot broader on there.
Yeah, so do you see yourself ever having an off internet presence or a solely? So we've talked about the possibility of like creating our own website with our own store, and I think those kinds of things probably do better if it's niche, because you get a reputation for selling certain types of things. You can get repeat buyers. They can refer people who are also interested in that. Whereas, like, you don't worry about that with eBay because it's a giant platform for a little bit of everybody. But do you see yourself having a physical presence ever? Like, we're talking about maybe doing shows next year, like a antique festival or whatever.
I've considered doing something where I go here, like
a flea market or something.
Like, not specifically flea market, but like there's comic conventions and stuff like that. And I have, fingers into that market anyway, and that's something where I'm already putting stuff on my stores. That's something I could transition to something like that. But I don't think I would want to actually run a physical location that targets for that market specifically. And at the rate of selling everything and anything, the same thing. I don't want to open my own flea market store or thrift store and go, I'm selling this stuff. But, you never know.
Yeah, but you mostly see yourself as online.
Probably. Yeah. When I don't have to deal with customers coming in, maybe if I took some key items that I said, I don't want to worry about shipping this, or this would look nice in a vintage booth, because I have toyed around with maybe opening a booth down the road, and that I could see myself stocking on a regular basis, just so that way I don't have to worry about running a location itself.
Yeah.
But a bookstore would be nice. A bookstore would be cool.
A bookstore?
Yeah, but bookstores don't make money, so it's just a...
Yeah. It'd be just a hobby business.
Hobby bookstore.
But yeah, that's interesting. So you can have a brand without having everything that often is associated with having a brand. But yeah, you're right. I never thought about it like your way of doing business is more like a Walmart or whatever, where they really do have their hands in a lot of different areas. It's like a low dip into a bunch of categories, as opposed to where a niche is like deep dive into a specific area. Yeah, which is interesting. And they both have their benefits and their downfalls, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Because I do, like I said, I do get repeat customers, but it seems more often than not, you have more consistent repeat customers.
I don't have tons of repeat customers. No? We did get some repeats. I wish we had repeat customers. We did get some repeats when we were initially selling the print blocks that kind of started us off, partially because those were in the same category. So sometimes we'd have people buy multiples at the same time, or I think at least one time we had someone come back and purchase another one after they received theirs. And then on Etsy, again, that's slow, and we've only made like 18 sales on there or something. But or maybe it's 25 now. It might be 25 now. We did get the one customer who came back and bought the mushroom, the local customer. So she had bought one, then we had it set up, and the Etsy sent an offer, like 10% off or something, or 15% off as a thank you, and then she came back and bought the second one. So we have had the odd repeat customers, but we don't have them as much as I wish we did. I don't know. I guess that's one area of our business that I would like to know how to develop. And I think that does go along with brand. Like some people are brand loyal because they know, oh, we had a good experience with this person, therefore, I'm gonna. I feel comfortable because I know I spent money with them before and it was fine and everything was great. But I don't know. I don't have the answer to how to get people on eBay, for instance, come back. And we may see benefits with the store subscription.
Yeah, probably.
I noticed on there, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but you can even do a newsletter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't see that? So with the store subscription, you can do newsletters and sort of build like a following, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know the ins and outs of that.
Well, I did also see, so we've talked about Whatnot streaming, right?
You've talked to me about it, yeah.
So eBay, I think, is now doing something similar to that, where if you have a certain tier eBay store, you can actually stream and sell stuff like Whatnot right on eBay's platform.
That's interesting and weird.
Yeah, because now it's happened in the past few months. Like, I remember seeing something about it, and I was like, whatever, I don't care. And then I've gotten like notifications about so-and-so is going live, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't
Interesting.
care. But so that would be interesting to actually build a following in a specific area, a category.
And then do live.
And then do a live right on eBay.
Huh. If any of you have had experience with that, put that down in the comments. We'd love to hear more about that. That's interesting. I hadn't seen that.
I do know that eBay itself will do live streams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
weird.
That was something from a few months ago that I saw. I don't know. I could be just, pulling nonsense out of
it wouldn't surprise
stuff,
me.
But
it wouldn't surprise me because the platform or the market's always changing, and so you have to flux with it.
And between video platforms are very popular. I wouldn't be surprised if eBay said we should harness this.
Yeah, well, they don't want places like Whatnot taking their market share or whatever. So that would be interesting too. But those are just some things like I guess that we need to work on down the line. And if any of you know how you get repeat customers other than listing some of the same stuff over and over again, and obviously I think that is probably the benefit to people who just sell trading cards, just sell patterns, just sell postcards. You have people coming back and checking that are into those specific things, and I think that is a very viable way to do business. And unfortunately, our niche is not ever going to be that narrow. So that may be what's affecting it, is our niche is in a category, but that category encompasses a lot of different styles and a lot of different tastes, and so
everything from kitchen core to grandma core.
All over. A little mid-century thrown in the center. But yeah, so that's interesting. But thank you so much for chatting with me.
Yeah, thank you.
I was interested to see your perspective on that because I knew you didn't have that niche, and I think that's what we think of a lot when we talk about branding. So it's a cool perspective. Thank you so much for joining us as well.
Yeah.
We will be back here next week, same time, with more of the same content. Please subscribe, leave us some comments. We need to talk to some people. Leave us some comments and we'll talk back. And we'd love to hear your ideas on branding. Do you have a brand for your business, or do you just like to sell stuff on the internet?
Yeah.
Anyway, have a great day and happy thrifting. Bye.